Welcome to the 290 Mo podcast. I appreciate you for coming on the show. If you could introduce yourself for my viewers and listeners.
My name is Shay. Look at you now. My name is Shay, everybody, and I got the Let's Be Real podcast. I gotta come to you today with some type of jokes because you always fucking with me. So
Okay. I like that. I like that. So before we get into the podcast, we're gonna just get a little bit of background information. If you could, if you don't mind, tell the people where you grew up and how was it growing up.
for everybody that's listening, a lot of people know me by Shaquan. Okay, I went to school on the west side, so I went to Douglas. I started off young in kindergarten at Byford School. So high school, I went to Marshall. I went to a couple of schools in Chicago, but I think I was well known for like fighting. Coming up. So it wasn't
Okay, was it
always
was this
easy.
boxing in the ring or street fighting? What
No,
kind of what kind of fighting you
no,
had going on?
no, aggressive. I was very aggressive
Okay.
because, I used to just always get talked about, or it wasn't easy for me to make friends because I guess my demeanor used to be so strong that any little thing was just always, oh, that's Shaquan, or they can just try to label me.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
So
so you coming up fighting and what at that time did you think about what did you want to do with your future at that time? And if you did, what was it? Was it like a doctor, lawyer, or did you was that something that you didn't even think about?
no, I mean I was a child. I was coming up. My mother always was there for me, but I was the only child. So it was like I always used to just reach out or try to, follow others coming up. And that's just being honest. I just used to want to blend in. So some of the fights wasn't even my fights. I used to just, have to ride with the people that I was growing up with. But now that I'm
Mm-hmm.
older, it's like, dead. I done created so many type of fights that, people still mad at me for stuff that I done outgrew. And it wasn't even my fight from the beginning. So it just be messed up though.
Okay.
That's how it was for me coming up, but I just outgrew a lot of the stuff.
Okay, that's definitely understandable because I'm definitely a changed person from where I was 10 years ago. So moving right along, um, did did you have any background in like podcasting or being behind the camera? What made you want to take the step into providing a platform or having a platform?
Well, actually, I my background really came from like medical.
Mm-hmm.
I went to school for medical building and code, and I gained my certification with that. I used to work for the Obamacare, so nothing ever was the background to just be like, hey, I'm gonna start a podcast, so I want to be like a radio podcaster or anything like that. So it just over the years, I just became more comfortable with talking. So this podcast platform came when I actually relocated from Chicago. I just moved to Houston, Texas. So
Mm-hmm.
now it's like, okay, I found my niche. So now I started a podcast with $0 versus me just having to feel like I gotta work so hard to start something. It was simple, and I
Mm-hmm.
use my talent, my gift, my
Mm-hmm.
voice.
Exactly. Okay, if you could, do you remember the exact instant where you was like, all right, I got this idea, now I'm finna put the name on it and I'm finna record it and I'm putting it online? Because before, a lot of plans have an infant stage, you know what I'm saying? So do you remember the exact instance, the exact moment you was like, all right, I'm just finna put a title on it and I'm gonna put it on the internet?
Yeah, I was standing in the kitchen when I just got here. I had moved here from Chicago, and I was talking to my mom, and she just was like, "So you always calling yourself a momager because I have two children, and I'm always like I'm the mouth for them. So I
Mm-hmm.
take them to these different type of auditions and things like that. So it's like I have to speak for them. I'm the advocate for my children. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna start me something. I'm gonna start a podcast. I just want to talk about and interview certain people about stuff. So, and that's how I started it just that day. And I came up with the name Let's Be Real because it's like every story or success, every success has a story behind it. So that's why I'm like, let's be real.
Okay. I can definitely dig it. So with that being said, let me ask you this. The title of the podcast is Let's Be Real. If you have a
Right.
guest and they're doing everything but being real, is that something that you will mention, or is that something that you will just, you know what I'm saying, continue to interview and get them in, get them out?
No. because you came on my show, my platform. So I'm gonna call you out because I that's what it's being real about. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you, I ain't finna cap with you, so don't cap with me. I'm gonna be like, man, this is a waste of time. You know, you ain't being real. And it might start up a conversation, you know, a
Right,
different
exactly.
type of, but I'm about that debate because you know damn well you ain't keeping it real.
Exactly, and I feel you on that, and I don't let nobody be fake in the interview, but I do also I think sometimes I ask too many cliche questions. You know, I let people off the hook sometimes, and not to say that it's bad questions. You know what I'm saying? It just be questions that the people might want to know, or that the person being interviewed might not expect you to ask. So, um, moving right along. Uh, okay, so you start the podcast, you put the name Let's Be Real, and you put it online. Okay, so I see you started off with a co-host, and how was that experience? Is that something that you would recommend to somebody who's just beginning podcasting, or is it something that you think somebody should try on their own, and then once you get the hang of it, then try to guess? I mean the co-host.
No, you know, I'm gonna be real. You know, I'm gonna just say this.
One of
You
them
know,
questions.
it's no it's no disrespect to nobody, but anybody can. You know, you can have a co-host, you can have a partner, a business partner, however you want it. But your business partner and you have to be on the same page. So me and my co-host, we departed because you know, she got her own brand going on. And I have my own business. In my business, I'm just gonna put a little bit more into it. And so maybe other people don't, you know what I'm saying, gonna value it as much and put this work in it, but that don't mean we still not friends. We just can't be business partners because I'm working too hard right now, and then you got your own business and you can't put as much as dedication into this business. So now it's like, you know what I'm saying, I got to keep the content here. So I would recommend it to anyone if you know your business partner like
Mm.
that. But if you don't, then I'm gonna say stay solo because you ain't gonna let yourself drown, period. So you can't tag nobody along with you. So you can take that however you want it. But
Okay,
I'm gonna just
okay.
tell you now, let's be real, it's solo.
Okay. Okay, that's why I was just gonna ask for a little bit more clarification. Is it co-host or former co-host?
She's a former co-host.
Okay, okay. All right. So moving forward, well,
Why
let's
you
be
asking
real.
these type of
I told
questions,
you I just told
dude?
you I got a hood. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's
but
all
it's no
right,
disrespect. I mean,
right, you know.
it's 1,000 people done seen, you know,
Right. That's why I said
the
because you
logo
got
the
people,
one.
it's people
So
watching you. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, I noticed
absolutely.
it. It was something I noticed, and I'm pretty sure that the rest of your fan base noticed that as well. And that ain't nothing that we're gonna dwell on. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna keep moving right along. And with that being said, with it all being you, have you noticed any difference in leg work or any difference in preparation, or is it about the same that you was already doing when it was a team effort?
Now I'm gonna say the leg work a little bit more. I'm putting it in there. At first, I was just a little tap dancing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm footworking a little bit more quicker because now I
Oh,
got all these different type of platforms I didn't got on. So when I was, you know, co-hosting, I only think I reached about 2 or 3 because I was too busy trying to put the content in there. But now it's like everything on me. I work more harder because now I know it's just you. You know,
mm-hmm.
so what is your goals for the next week going out? You know, what's your next move? So always it's real easy and it's dope. I actually got a lot of other things going
Yeah.
on, and you know, just watch. It's amazing. I'm about to take off. It's cool though.
Okay, yeah, that's dope. I can see the excitement in your face. So if you don't mind, I
Oh, yeah.
understand this is your baby, but if you could share some of the things you got upcoming for Let's Be Real with some of the listeners.
Absolutely. The type of people that I do interview now that I'm looking forward to interview, they are much more global. They are much more on a high professional level. So now I'm trying to interview more experts to get more sponsorships out there. So now the platforms that I'm on, I am trying to do more content and marketing. You know, it's easy to just say you want to get paid, but the more sponsorships to get you more publicity, and also the people that you're interviewing. You can't just always think you're going to interview someone, whether if they qualified or not, but you just have to bring yourself to start reaching out amongst local people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's going on right now for Let's Be Real. Let's Be Real doing a lot of networking across a lot of states. You know, I got hookups, connections in Miami. I'm still local with Chicago. I just
Mm-hmm.
met another lady. She's in Nigeria. I got an interview coming up with a guy from Paris. Like, so it's real dope. You know, my
Yeah.
networking is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and it definitely shows on your platform. Just scrolling down your platform, I see stuff you got coming up with filmmakers and stuff that you have already done in the
Absolutely.
past. So it's definitely a variety of content. So with that being said, like I probably mentioned to you before, I don't have any background in podcasting. So as far I used to listen to podcasts. So some of the podcasts that I take notes from now, as far as getting questions or just trying to set the vibe or how to talk to a guest, and probably like the Breakfast Club or Joe Rogan podcast. Is there any other shows that you watch for to like basically just to take notes or to get skills from, or is it strictly Let's Be Real when you know what I'm saying, getting ready for to put your product out there?
You know, it's always good to do some background and research in it, whether if you a fan of theirs or not. So, you know, Joe Budden is cool, but I don't want to be a Joe Budden. So when I
Mm,
do my filming and I'm putting out my shows, my content is really, let's be real. It's
right.
off of me, you know, vabbing and interviewing my guests up there, you know, these candidates that come on my show. But I do listen to Joe Budden. But
Mm,
his podcast is different, you know. He's not just an interview and a conversational. He do much more of like comedy or sports, you know, podcasting. So, you know, man is
mm.
just much more conversations, but I do watch him just to get a little bit more of, you know, background in podcasting.
Okay, okay. Um, I heard you mention also about expanding like basically your horizon as far as the guests you have on the show, and you said you watched the Joe Budden. Have you ever considered contacting one of these podcasts that you ever watched just to see where it goes? You're like, hey, can I get on the show? Because that's something like the artists do. They might send their mixtape to a regular. That's something I've even considered myself. You know what I'm saying? Once I get a couple more subscribers. Like I plan on like adding Charlemagne the guy. Like, yo, check out my podcast, and you know what I'm saying, when you get some time. So is that anything that you ever considered?
Absolutely. I consider beyond that. I'm not even gonna say that. Like my goal is to really be on the radio. Like I know for a fact I'm gonna be a famous radio podcaster. So I reach out more to like the radio stations because some of these people that have these podcasts, you got to think about it. They're still being sponsored by a radio or you know
Mm-hmm.
some type of big facility like that. So I go beyond them. I'm tired of reaching to the extension cords. I'm going to the, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to the force now. You ain't finna keep being on stitcher cord. I want the plug.
Okay, okay. So before I get you up out of here, let me ask you this, and if you can't share, you know what I'm saying, because I understand some stuff be under wraps, some stuff you can't, you know what I'm saying. You don't want the enemy to get an eye on it. So if you could share your the next 3 to 5 year plan for Let's Be Real, where you expect to
Oh,
be
I
on?
know
Sorry.
what next be in the 3 to 5 year next be let's be real is gonna have an actual radio. That's my goal. No matter what money I make, what I come across, my plans is to open up a real let's be real podcast radio. That's gonna be mad. I'm gonna stamp it. And I think I'm gonna open that up in Houston, even though I'm from Chicago, but I'm gonna birth it up in Houston because that's where the idea came from. So in 3 to 5 years, I should have a building. That's I know for a fact I'm gonna have one.
Okay, and that's definitely dope. And I got one last question. One last question before I get you up out of here. All right, and you mentioned this before. You moved from Chicago to Houston. If you could just detail that experience, how much different is it from Chicago? Like I hear a lot of people say Chicago is a lot hustle and bustle. When you go other places, stuff slow down a lot. Like as far as traffic and all that. So if you could just share your experience with us, is it something? Are you glad you made that decision?
Yeah, this was a great move that I made because it's better for my kids. You know,
Mm-hmm.
coming from Chicago, like I said, I grew up, you know, not just being guided the right way on my own. I just was led to want to hang out with so many people that was just in this society, which they still are. So, you know, moving is better. I'm gonna just say the environment is better for my kids. There's opportunities out here. I felt like the Empire State was building was lifted up off my back because people in Chicago always just try to keep me in the vision that they used to see me and they don't be want to see where I'm going. So
Mm-hmm.
moving here, people don't know me. It's violence everywhere, but I don't know the hoods to go and be associated with any violence.
Right.
So here it's only strictly business, and that's what I came for.
Okay, okay. Well, I thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on the podcast. If you could let everybody know where they can find the podcast at.
Absolutely. You can find your girl, Let's Be Real Shay, on Facebook. I'm on SoundCloud. I'm on iHeart. I'm on Spotify. I'm on RSS feed. You know, I just got out there. I'm on Podbean. Just keep your eyes open for Shay. Shay finna get out here. You're
AKA
gonna see more Let's Be Real.
AKA she's wherever you listen to podcasts, put in Let's Be Real, she gonna come up.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you for coming on the show. I'm gonna let you get up out of here. I can't wait to have you back. I'm gonna link all your information in the description of this podcast. Anybody that may be watching or listening, if you got a business, if you got something going on, hit her up. She got dope content. She gonna get you on a platform, and she gonna make it. She gonna make y'all look good. She gonna make it look good.
We're gonna do some networking. We gonna definitely do some networking. I'm gonna pass some profiles along though. That's what to do. When you get on Let's Be Real, it ain't just you just gonna, that's it. We're gonna do some more networking. I'm gonna have another stepping stone for you.
Okay. So like I said, thank you for coming on the show. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Same to you. Thank you.
Fuck. What's up, man? Let me take you for a little spin, man. Show you what it feel like.
I gotta go make these drop-offs.
Man, you think you're the only one out here working, B? Gotta make drop-offs too, B.
Come on, man, get in, man. I ain't taking no for an answer, man.